Hey, you may be seated. Shabbat Shalom. One of the names that we call ourselves is Am Olam, which means eternal people, but the word Olam means this world, trying to make this world better. Olam means eternal, and it stands for the idea that the reason we are still here as a people is because we always try to make things better in this world. And it's not easy. And so I would say the eternal dilemma of the eternal people has been, are we an Am Kachol HaGoyim? Are we a nation like all other nations? Or are we supposed to be an Or LaGoyim? Are we supposed to be a light to the nations? And it's very difficult because things feel more and more dangerous. There have been a lot of attacks, as you know, in Israel. There was a horrific attack at a synagogue in Tunisia last week. Tunisia had really opened itself to the Jewish people. Thousands of Jews come for a festival in Tunisia each year, and someone killed 5 worshipers. And immediately the imams in Tunisia, the leaders in Tunisia said, no, we really want to protect you. This is horrifying. But it's a scary moment. There have been attacks in New York, whether physically, verbally, or through graffiti. And even in our own area, we've been on edge over a number of things, whether it was the graffiti from last week, whether it was called in threats. And I'm going to tell you, you don't even know half of it. And you don't really want to know it, but we're very fortunate that we have an excellent security system within our entire community, and we're in constant touch with each other, and we are as secure as we can be in a world that seems to be less so. And I think our instinct is to go within that dilemma to just want to be like everyone else, to be an Am Kachol HaGoyim. We want to be just left alone, and we're angry and we're frustrated. And I know we have to defend ourselves. We have to find ways to keep ourselves safe. But when we return hate with hate and we return fear with fear, that diminishes us. Wanting vengeance instead of justice and peace will ruin us from the inside out. We can't give in because we've come too far. Our tradition and our history tells us that we're capable of so much more. We are here precisely because we try to do the right thing, even in the most difficult of times, even if no one else appreciates it, even if no one else understands what we're trying to do. And we see this in our Torah portion today, where it says that the redemption of the land of Israel is based completely on ethical behavior, and not just because the inhabitants were Israelites. The only thing that allows us to have a claim to the land is ethical treatment toward people, toward animals, and the land itself. It's not that being Jewish gives us a right to the land. It means we have the privilege of acting in a way that we deserve the land. And we can't get those two things mixed up. The Torah portion talks about the Shemitah year, where you're not allowed to do active farming every 7 years, and the Yovel year, where every 50th year the land returns to original owners. People who lost their land because of debts can reclaim them. And it says, V'lo tonu ish et amito v'yaratam Elohecha ki ani Adonai Elohechem. Do not do the wrong thing to each other, for I am your God. And you will observe the laws faithfully, and if you do so, v'yashavtam al haaretz levetach, you will live upon the land in security. And even during that 7th year when you're not farming, there will be enough for you to eat. V'achaltam lisboa, you will have enough and you will live freely on it. The commentator Seforno says that there will be enough food for you in that 7th year, if you do the right thing the previous 6 years, and it's not just doing the right things agriculturally, it's how you take care of people, it's how you conduct your business, it's how you see the other who lives in your community who is not a citizen, but who is under your care and protection. If you have control over someone in Jewish law, your obligation is to make sure that they are cared for and that they are protected. If they are violent, if they try to harm you, you're allowed to protect yourself, but you are not allowed to actively try to make their lives miserable just because you don't agree with them, like them, or feel that they are a part of you. And if you do these things, there will be enough. There is so much fear among people that they won't have enough, and so they do terrible things to each other. And they try to limit people, and they try to narrow their lives. And what the Torah tells us is that the more we can expand people's sense of security and freedom, the more we can help them feel like they belong, the more they feel safe, the more that they have enough to eat, the more that they can live in a healthy way, and when they're not healthy, find ways to be healthy. The more we expand to people, the more there is for us. It sounds counterintuitive. It sounds like the more we do for others, the less there is for us. But the world is set up in a way that the more we do for others, the more we will live in peace and freedom ourselves. We as a people are never going to be like everyone else. But we can be most fully ourselves when we stand for good things for everyone. When there is enough for everyone else, then there is enough for us as well. Shabbat Shalom.